What's up, guys? It's Christian. And you're probably wondering, why is this episode coming out so late? Didn't you guys say this was going to come out on Sunday? Well, my power in my house has gone out twice in the past day. And they were when I was trying to edit and export this fucking podcast. So blame God, not me. Anyways, here it is. It's finally out. They should be out on Sundays from this point forward. We're still toying with when on Sunday, because the whole point of this show coming out on Sunday is so that you'll have it Monday morning. So we don't really know how important it is that the show comes out really early on Sunday, but we're going to toy around with it and see, how you guys respond in the downloads. Without much further ado, finally, this episode comes out. Oh, that's really good. It's going to be a great show. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Alex. That's really good. Welcome to the first Sunday episode. It's the more topical episode. We're trying it out. If you think it's interesting, then, email us. Oh, that's a good start. So on this episode, we're gonna have slightly more structure because
I thought you were reading
last
from the Bible.
episode it's my holy grail.
I thought it was a Bible.
This is my Magna Carta.
Sorry.
And we got the Old Testament here. We're gonna read some Psalms. No, we're a little more structured this time because we sometimes have kind of dead zones in our normal show when we're just shooting the shit. It's mostly Alex's fault. And so we decided to write some stories down.
Physical comedy.
So that we can keep the energy up.
Yeah.
And I think the big one that we were both looking at before this that needs to be brought up first is this weird BLAC CHYNA thing going on. So who are they?
Damn, you're gonna put it all on me like I know, because of course I know.
Do you want me to give my best shot at it?
Okay. Yeah, let's be hilarious.
I'm gonna give my best shot in the dark.
Who you think?
Rob Kardashian is a male Kardashian who's never done anything.
Accurate.
And BLAC CHYNA is an Instagram thought who has fake ass and titties and a lot of plastic surgery and was a stripper. And now she's rich and famous because rappers liked her. And I'm going to go even deeper. She's from Atlanta and she's 25.
You're very you're 99% correct. I think she's from DC. I just saw this yesterday, and she's 29.
And some trash rapper was into her. Okay, so we've got Wiz and Tyga saving these hoes nowadays.
Yeah.
And then something happened, and Rob's rich for no reason, and she was like trying to get some of that bread, and so she helped Rob. She started BLAC CHYNA fucking Rob, helped him with the weight. And then they had a kid together, which was a mistake. I'm also going to go on a limb and say not Rob's kid.
I think it is his.
Okay, That's impressive. And then they got married?
I think they were engaged.
They were engaged? Okay, I'm close. And then they cheated on each other, probably.
I think she. I don't know if he did on her, but it's public that she cheated on him.
Okay, go figure. What a surprise. And then now they're both way negligent parents.
Supposedly they both accused each other of being more him to her, but yeah.
Okay, so they're mega negligent, and then here's where we get into something I have concrete knowledge of. Then Rob started posting nudes of BLAC CHYNA on her on his Instagram, and a bunch of texts and really bratty bitch teen girl shit.
Yeah,
and then now he's going to jail for it. I bet.
That's what they say he could, but in California, they said it's only a misdemeanor.
I was listening to it's 6 months of jail time. I was listening to Phil DeFranco talked about it, and they said that the court of law now has to determine whether or not BLAC CHYNA liking the photo
is consent.
Yeah. Well, because one of the ordinance's requirements is that you have to suffer distress. It's something called the revenge porn ordinance or something. And you have to have suffered distress, emotional distress. And if you like the photo what does that say? So I think that's where we're at now.
Yeah. Well, I think it's up to 6 months in jail and up to $1,000 fine. I guarantee you he does no time. And if it does, it's fucking a day.
Oh, yeah. I mean, let's be real here. Like,
she's a stripper, bro.
She's a stripper.
It's like throwing a bucket of water to the ocean. Posting nudes.
Yeah, she's a stripper and he's famous and they're in California. So, like,
yeah,
I don't remember the last time a famous person did something illegal in California except for OJ and actually got thrown in jail.
Yeah, you gotta murder someone. So yeah, you're pretty accurate with the story. Like she's Tyga's baby mama. So she was married to Tyga. I guess she was a stripper and like it was like a dancer at King of Diamonds. Fun fact, which I realized not the other day, but a couple weeks ago, and I didn't know at the time. There's an old Drake song. I think it's "Miss Me."
Okay.
Or something, like from like 2010. He says, "Call up King of Diamonds and tell Black China it'll be worth the flight." And like I don't know why the other day, like that line, I was like listening to like an old Drake song and that hit me and I was like, oh shit, like I forgot
that's crazy.
So I guess
so I think we can describe her as loose at this point.
Well, I mean Kanye West kind of started it, like, as Amber Rose was a stripper and he was like,
yeah, but was
2008.
Was Wiz before Kanye on the Amber Rose shit? It was
Kanye
Wiz.
No, it's Kanye,
Kanye,
and then Wiz married her after.
Kanye, we gotta have a conversation about this.
Yeah, putting these hoes on. Oh, well, he's with Kim Kardashian now. Come on. I mean, do you
think Kim K and Beyonce not getting along are like the whole reason why Jay-Z and Kanye are like fighting now?
I don't know. I think Kanye like has some issues. Not like.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you think about Kanye's career, it's like, be a producer, blow up, make like this soulful music, mom dies.
Yeah.
Like peak, everyone thinks you're an asshole at the pinnacle of your fucking career.
And he probably feels guilty because he was paying for the plastic surgery she was getting.
Yeah.
She died on the table and he was like, she was having like 4 procedures at once and he was paying for it. Well, I'm sure like you probably think like, man, if I wasn't successful, she wouldn't have had the surgery and blah, 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 blah. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he just seemed like, I like Kanye West, but what we love him for is also what, like, it's kind of like that artist curse of like just being crazy and also
being a fucking
genius.
Psychopath.
Yeah, like, and he raps about like being on Lexapro and antidepressants and like just
last time in Mexico.
Yeah, just like going nuts. And I feel like, I don't know Jay-Z obviously, and he's not as public with his like issues.
Well, neither is Beyonce. Like that whole couple is really public or really private, and so.
But she did say that he cheated on her on Lemonade, and
I think he like
admitted it in this.
Admitted it in 444, yeah.
Which is like a big thing, I guess. Which I wouldn't do. That's just me. But I wouldn't admit it.
Dude, do you think couples that cheat have any chance of sticking together?
I think some of them. I think it just depends on the person. Like if I think it depends on if the person who cheated genuinely means that they're not going to do it again, but more importantly, if the person that forgive them actually forgive them. Because I think the problem a lot of people have is like, you say you forgive the person, but you're going to bring it up when you're mad. And like that's with anything, and I feel like in a relationship, if you hold on to things that you say you forgive them for, because if you don't forgive them for it, be honest about it and be mad and leave them or whatever, do what you have to do, and then like whatever a certain amount of time, let's say like, okay, I forgive you, I still want to be with you. I think that's a big issue I've seen people have.
I know of someone who has not dumped their boyfriend, who has cheated on them 8 times.
Okay, well, and she knows all 8. Like she knew about all 8 times.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's just foolishness. That's
some dumb shit.
Yeah.
And you know what this resulted in? Instead of like just abandoning the situation, she just like goes through his phone all the time now, and like he can't go out, and like there's like restrictions, and apparently one time he like came.
Do I know this person?
No, you have no idea who this is.
Okay.
One time apparently like he came home and his explanation was, "Babe, I'm an alpha male."
Hey, bro. Zebra's doing zebra shit. You know what I mean? I don't know.
No, that's some pussy shit, dude.
I mean, I don't know why he's still with her. Like,
apparently, he's also like asked her if her friends think if he's hot.
Oh yeah, he's trying to smash.
He's fuckboy.
Does he live with her?
I think they're getting an apartment together. Yeah.
Not a good move. And
Yeah.
like,
She's gonna have to clean up some sheets that she didn't sleep in.
does she pay for a lot of his stuff? Is that why he with her?
I don't know, dude.
Okay.
Maybe.
As a guy, like, if you're just gonna cheat on a girl, so why don't you just not be with her? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand any of the logic, but
And then you're gonna and then obviously she's gonna be not trusting, and then you're gonna have to I don't know. It's just not.
yeah,
Never my area of
that
expertise.
shit's ridiculous.
Well, just cheating in general, I think is.
Yeah, cheating is insane.
Well, yeah, I don't if you just don't want to do something, just don't do it. I don't understand. You know what?
It's like the whole excuse is like it's like always well, not always, but a lot of times it's a celebrity thing. There's this young millionaire soccer player cheats on his girlfriend. I don't think you hear about it in soccer too much, probably just because we're in America and they don't talk about it, but
yeah,
basketball player, whatever, right? And everyone's like, well, he's young and rich and, whatever. And I'm like, no, that makes no sense, because if you're out and you're like on the road as an NBA player and there's some like hot girl trying to fuck and you have a girl at home, you should know that you have to sacrifice immediate pleasures for future pleasures.
Yeah.
And that if you don't cheat, you know how much happier your life is going to be down the road. And athletes know that because they work out mercilessly to be the best. They sacrifice all of their like current comfort for
time, all that.
future reward. That's what they do. That's their entire job. So I don't buy it for a fucking second that it's just like, well, what would you do? And I'm like, well, they should have learned this lesson by now.
Well, I don't think it exonerates them from guilt, like if you do anything wrong, but I also think it just it's priorities. Like, it depends how serious you are. Like, if they're like, oh, she's my chick, but like I'm still trying to fuck other girls, I understand why I do it. Like, not that it's okay, but okay. Like, it's just not that important to you,
Yeah.
But also, I think a lot of people think that just because they're disciplined in one area, you're gonna be disciplined in every area. It's like Mike Tyson. He was disciplined and like fucking, one of the best boxers of all time, but he's fucking crazy in every other area. you know? So I think a lot of people have that. Like, they need that release. They're like, not in a sexual way, but anything. Like, it's like, they're so like even like you're talking about like bankers, you know what I mean? Like, you're balls deep, you went to school, you fucking work 80 hours a week, you're making all this money, and then it's like, fuck yeah, we're going to the club, we're doing some cococaine, we're fucking some strippers. Fuck it. I don't
It's
care.
like, I've told you about that old era of like bankers back in the pennying days, back when you could finally do what's called pennying people, which means like on the floor of the exchange, if you were going to make a deal between two parties that one wanted to buy and the other one wanted to sell, there would be someone that would come along, because you make money on the spread, right? So like, this person gives you $1 million to go buy some securities, and then you find a company that wants those securities and they're willing to sell their securities for $900,000.
Yeah.
So you take the money, you sell it to these people, and you transfer the securities back, and you made yourself a cool $100,000. Never happens that way. That's way too much money to make on one trade. But back in the day, you had to raise the price by an eighth. Well, then eventually they introduced decimalization. So you can get like 0.01, right, at prices. It used to be like 3/8 was like the price, like 44 and 3/8, right?
Yeah.
And so you could penny people now. So you could be like, I'll beat that trade by a penny. And you could like hop in front of them in line and like penny people and like beat them by a penny and like eliminate everyone's spread and all that kind of stuff. So they would get off work at 4:30 or 5 or something like that, and they would go down to bars and they would just get in fist fights in downtown Wall Street. They'd be like, you motherfucker, boom, and just start socking each other in the bar. And that was like a big era. And it was such a big era that the SEC required you to beat the spread by a nickel. They're like, you have to do a nickel. You can't do a penny.
That's hilarious.
To eliminate the fighting.
Fucking, this sounds such like petty bullshit.
Yeah.
1 penny. I got you.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you got to trade for this. You're walking up to the market maker trying to get your trade to work, and then someone's like, I'll beat that by a penny. And you're like, it's game time.
Well, even a nickel.
Rock 'em, sock 'em, fuck you, bitch.
A nickel doesn't even sound that bad, though. Like, a nickel is still like...
Yeah, but when you're trading like 200,000 shares of something,
nickels,
you get a nickel of each share, that kind of thing. It adds up pretty quick. And because you're doing like hundreds of trades a day.
That makes sense.
That
makes sense. But the Rob and BLAC CHYNA thing is funny in the sense that like... Well, like, yeah, she was with Tyga, and then she got with Rob, and then Rob's like, I haven't seen the show. Well, I have seen the show in the past, but like my girlfriend watches it. And I've seen like, there was like one scene where like, I guess like his family, like his sisters and mom don't like her. And he was like, I love her. She's so special. All the bullshit that some dumbass would say.
This fucking thought from DC is the one.
Yeah, she's the stripper with the blown out ass and fake titties, and she's gonna be so faithful. And
She's never going anywhere.
yeah, so he's just it's like funny to me.
Didn't she like steal his car and some money and stuff as well?
I don't think she stole it. I think he bought her. Like he bought her $250,000 Ferrari.
I always thought that she like took stuff.
No, he bought it for her. He bought her Ferrari.
I mean like before this, didn't she like leave once with some shit or something? And he was like on a rampage. It's a destruct. The only, you know what's crazy is like they're both famous for just nothing, right? They're both famous for just being drama and association and all that kind of shit, right?
Yeah,
that's all they're famous for. So both of them come out way ahead in this situation. Both of them. They're both more famous.
They'll both
now.
be fine.
They're the only person that loses is their kid.
Yeah, the kid's like I think not even a year, but yeah. When she's older, so yeah,
that baby's fucked.
Yeah,
but I mean, she or he was fucked regardless.
Well, financially, she'll be alright.
Yeah, financially, yeah. Mentally, we got Kanye 2.0 coming out.
Yeah, it's gonna be an issue. But I like she sent him. He posted online. She sent him a picture of her laying in her like in their bed, like, and he's in her. The guy she's with is in his clothes, and she's like kissing him. I saw a funny meme, and she's like kissing the dude in the mouth. And this guy put a meme up. He's like, "So we kissing these hoes in the mouth now?" But I don't. It's just like. I don't know. It sounds like such a bad situation. Like, her for like being,
unfaithful.
Hoes gonna do what hoes gonna do, and then him like put it all on Instagram. I think it's funny. They're making them each other both look stupid. He put a track listing of the Lemonade album, but he like changed every track to do with like BLAC CHYNA, and it's a picture of him like holding onto his head. It's hilarious. And then Snoop Dogg was like, put a video out, and he's like, "Y'all be letting these hoes been finding suckers, and you been letting them lick you." Like, Snoop Dogg's like, "You got to do the licking." y'all be safe out there, or something like that.
I don't understand it. I don't get it. It's like real life catfish.
It's
like social catfish.
Well, she's actually pretty smart in the sense that like she's been out and about since that's happening, and she's been like heavily like wearing her. I think she has like a makeup line or some shit, maybe a clothing line. So she has some line of something, and she's been like or hair. I think it's hair products. She's been like rocking her hair and like heavily promoting, which is smart in her sense because her Instagram and Twitter have never been more poppin', so it's like bingo. At least she's thinking in a business sense of like, now we're gonna promote the fuck out of everything that I'm doing, which is kind of smart.
Dude, speaking of which, I was reading this Complex article a second ago. I feel like it's a good time to bring it up. How much money do you think Ronaldo makes per Instagram post that's sponsored?
Oh, I saw this. It's like 300 something G's or something like that.
It's more than that.
How much is it?
It's $400,000. How much do you think LeBron makes?
It was way less, right? It was like 100 or something?
120.
Jeez.
And then do you remember who the top earning per post person is?
Your girl, Selena
Gomez at $483,000. I looked at the top 10 and it's like 8 chicks that were all copy and paste of each other.
Yeah.
And then like...
Two athletes.
Not all copy and paste because Selena's not like some skinny waist, fat ass like...
I'm surprised Katy Perry isn't on there because isn't she the most popular person according to Instagram? Like she has like 150 million followers. Like
maybe she doesn't do sponsor stuff very much.
Which is like
maybe her demographic isn't like.
I'd be milking that fucking cow. Oh my god, I'd be like $1 million a post because that's.
But so many of them are like girls that just do the fit tee waist trainer stuff, and they're like they got the ass injections, and they do that dumb shit where they get someone to film like a low angle of them like 2 feet jumping upstairs and stuff like that. Like that's the default photo, and then they drink their fit tea. There's one, her name is Bundle of Brittany, and she's beautiful, but she does she has like the weirdest gigs where it's like she does the same shit, right? Like weird waist trainer or whatever. She's clearly like in good shape, but she also, there's maybe a 0.0001% chance her ass is real. But it is one of those girls, slim waist, like super stupid thick, like thighs don't match, that kind of shit, right? And she does like Microsoft events where she like goes and trains them, but she also does this shit where her sponsored ads, she like walks from out of frame into frame with her like, she's like, so, and she like sways in, she like gets her arms out, she's like, so today I have a beautiful product for you. And you're just like, I can't take it. Like the cringe just hurts.
She's there just to get paid.
It's like, it's like Steve Jobs impersonation. It hurts me. And so, I I think that those girls have got it down. Like, I'm like, nope, I don't even see what the product is. You know, not that I would buy any of it anyway, but I'm just like, nope. As soon as I see it in my Explore tab, I'm like backing out, you know? That shit though, it's like, I don't know what it is. Like, I know it's going to be the same video every time, but I'm like,
Well, it's the same thing that we're talking about, like why Rob and China are big. I think they both have like 15 million Instagram. I checked somewhere around there, and like
I think Rob's Instagram is shut down now.
Is it? It got like deleted because he posted.
Yeah, it's like against terms of service to post nudes of other people.
Yeah, which is weird because
and it's also like they're a Silicon Valley company, so they're facilitating.
Yeah, but you can also like crime, it's weird though because on Instagram you could post like all like almost nude. You can post like I've seen girls with like side ass and like slightly like you can see their ass.
Well, like you can post nude stuff on YouTube as long as it's art.
Yeah, you can post on Twitter.
But at the same time, it feels like
you can post porn on Twitter.
Yeah, but YouTube doesn't. YouTube supposedly has like
terms of service.
Yeah, but it really doesn't seem to matter. It just seems to be like, nah, it'll get taken down if someone wants to take it down. You know what I mean? YouTube is I think YouTube is built to look really futuristic and really like we have all these like crazy dense algorithms that run behind the scenes. And it turns out that you can really easily just flag anything you want for copyright, report it, and it gets taken down. Like you, as the viewer, have a lot of control.
Yeah, which I don't like. I don't think anyone should be able to flag anything.
Yeah, or like, well, the default too is that I think what people get so pissed off about with YouTube and that whole thing is like, it seems to follow the like innocent until proven guilty mentality, where if it gets flagged or if a copyright claim gets put on it, you lose all your revenue or it gets taken down, and then you have to refute it to get it back up or get your money back.
Guilty till proven innocent type?
Yeah, sorry, guilty till proven innocent, yeah. And you also don't recover any of the revenue. So, like, if you...
That's fucked up.
I know, right? And so, like, if you get a copyright claim on your thing, you might get a strike against your account, like 3 strikes, and your account's deleted or something. So, let's say you're... PewDiePie, he's like the biggest YouTuber, right?
Yeah, it makes like $9 million a year.
Makes a ton of money.
Yeah.
He puts a video up, it's gonna get like 5 million views, 10 million views, maybe. Mm-hmm. If he puts it up, and the 5 million views take like 2 days to get, it's apparently it's not uncommon for like the first day of views, someone to copyright claim it, just default, like just to immediately copyright claim it, and then all the views that video has that are monetized views, that copyright claimer makes. They earn all of that money. Then he refutes it, and then YouTube's like, oh yeah, you're right, it's a bogus copyright claim. So then on the second day, he makes all the second day revenue, and he doesn't get the first day back.
That's
apparently
a clear conflict of interest.
Yeah, and what my saying is, well, why is it that a copyright claim... Why is it that the YouTuber gets a strike by default, but the copyright claimer can issue seemingly infinite copyright claims?
Yeah.
Because... that's a problem, because it's like, why is there no thing in place? Like you've issued 100 copyright claims and none of them have ever stuck. You can't issue anymore. Yeah. You're clearly just trying to steal people's money.
Yeah.
You know,
why aren't we doing that?
I mean, I know how to write Python, so we can write a bot.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Anything with an F and an I in it in the title, just claim.
Yeah, just fucking.
No, I mean, because we'd be monsters. I mean, that's really like the answer. It's like such a douchebag thing to do, but. Yeah,
it's such bullshit though. That's like,
I mean, you can, like, copyright law is ludicrous because if someone even is making fun of you, you can copyright it because they're using your personality. Yeah, you know, it's insane. And the whole point of the copyright, it's like if you're parodying it or providing criticism or an educational thing, it's like, but that doesn't seem to matter, you know.
Well, YouTube is just at a certain point where it is the video hosting site. So
it's the only one, yeah.
They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, but the reason why they can do whatever they want is because they have infinite funding from Google. Because YouTube doesn't make any money.
Yeah, so that's why. I mean, nothing's gonna change until like it hurts.
I mean, think about it, right? Like we have a SoundCloud account, and that's pro, and everyone can see that. It's not like news. Mm-hmm. We pay annual membership fees in order to host all of the data we put it on there. Mm-hmm. You don't pay dick to YouTube, and all the files are like 50 times the size we put on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
So how are they ever going to make any money hosting all of that shit?
Yeah, it's just there. Like the power, like you said, is just kind of in the user space. Same thing with like Twitter and Instagram. They don't really make money.
Yeah.
But
it goes to show though that like a lot of these guys that relied solely on YouTube didn't diversify onto other platforms. Like we're not super diversified, but we're everywhere a podcast is, and we're on YouTube, and
Yeah.
You know, we've got like places to post if one of these go bust, you know? And there's so many YouTubers that relied solely on YouTube, and now that it's kind of crashing, it's like, fuck.
Yeah, but it sucks for them, but all good things come to an end. Like your favorite entrepreneur, Gary Vaynerchuk, said, you should be trying to invent the thing that's going to put you out of business. And I kind of like appreciated that because he was talking about like, you know, like Nintendo is like 20 years ago, everyone had a Nintendo Game Boy or something like that. And he's like, and then now phones come along and.
Yeah, but then Nintendo just released the old SNES again.
Yeah, well, obviously the nostalgic pieces are always going to release.
Yeah, but Nintendo has only ever released nostalgia. They made their last like original. I swear to fucking God, they made their last original IP that anyone gave a fuck about 30 years ago.
Yeah, but
and every year they release a new system.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh, the games are on it. Mario's back.
Yeah,
Mario's back. We have another Mario Party. We have another
game too.
Sonic and Hedge. Like we have another Sonic and we have another fucking, you know, Mario Kart.
Yeah,
I mean, like they released the same games over and over again. The SNES that came out is like a prepackaged thing. Looks old as fuck, but it's got like some software in it. It has all the games preloaded.
Yeah.
But the games are like Jumpman.
Yeah.
And like Donkey Kong. You know?
Yeah, the Super Smash Bros.
You're just like, what? No. Way before. I think it's way before Super Smash.
Oh wow.
Like Super Nintendo shit.
Oh, that's cool. Like the old Mario.
Yeah, it's
Mario
cool,
World,
right?
yeah.
$50 sounds good, right?
Yeah.
There they go again.
Yeah.
They're just continuing to make money on old IPs.
Yeah. Well, I think they're always gonna have a soft spot until.
They're kind of like the Disney of video games, where it's like just keep re-releasing the shit we've already made.
Why not? You don't have to fucking have a new budget for it. Just gotta pay someone.
And then
to clean
you know
it
what's
up.
crazy though is that Disney's products are all still just, you know, syndicate. It's not a word. I was thinking of a word like synthesizations, but they're all just adopted stories from like medieval times, like Hamlet and shit like that.
Yeah. Cinderella's are all and then they copyright them, which is hilarious.
Yeah,
they take them and they're like, bingo, we changed it, now it's ours.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nintendo, like if you think about it, like, you know, as far as consoles go, like Game Boys and DSs, like a lot of companies just don't see the next thing. Like Blockbuster, he was basically saying like Blockbuster should have had the idea for Netflix, you know, like instead of thinking like, I read the memo too that Blockbuster issued, like when Netflix or Redbox or one of those two first came out. They're like, people like the process of coming to our stores and shopping for a movie and buying popcorn. And he was laughing and he's like, I don't know about you guys, you know what, I like sitting in my bed fucking naked and playing another movie.
Yeah.
You know? But just that kind of thought process of companies like YouTube is another one. And my point being with like the YouTubers is kind of like, I know it's hard to because you get caught in the moment and there's such a great honeypot and stuff of like, you know, all these YouTubers making
it's
that
like
much money.
it's like the West Coast gold rush.
It is
of the internet.
It was, and now it's starting to kind of, you know, come to that point where it's going to change. And I feel like a lot of YouTubers who solely rely on their income on that, you got to be thinking long term as far as like what's next, because this thing blew up and like everyone seems to think that way for some reason.
Well, that's
like,
why you see everyone jumping on podcasts now.
Yeah, but podcasts too. Like eventually, like everyone has a podcast.
Like we started our podcast almost a year ago, and we are way late to the game.
Oh yeah, because like podcasts have been around for a minute, you know.
Yeah, because radio, but you know, it's like that was the second outlet, and then you see these other YouTubers, a lot of them moving into music now.
Yeah,
like random YouTubers that are like, I'm gonna rap. You know?
Well, it's just where the money is, and like you got to follow the trend, and back to like. Bring it a full circle with Rob and BLAC CHYNA of like, oh, they're famous for nothing, but the point, it doesn't matter what you're famous for anymore. It matters what your social media accounts look like, because you can monetize the fuck out of that.
Yeah.
Because companies, I think, rightly so, are getting smarter. And like, we could run this commercial and whatever, we could put it on Fox Sports that gets like 500,000 viewers on this from this time frame to this time frame on average. Or Kim Kardashian, who has 70 million Instagram followers.
And it'll be out now.
Yeah. And we could pay her $1 million for this, and 70 million people can see it. Not all of them are going to see it.
Yeah.
But can see it. And it's there permanently.
And it's there right now.
Yeah. And it's going to be on her feed permanently.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how they negotiate that.
And there's infinite space theoretically for tweets, so we don't have to buy out anyone else's contract.
No, I think they did something like last year. They did a piece on like tweets too. Like it was way cheaper than Instagram because Instagram has the most followers. And like I said, I don't know how they negotiate.
Well, also because it's not rich media with a tweet unless you tweet a photo. Like a tweet is just a tweet.
Yeah,
it's just a couple. It's like 140 lines of forgettable text.
Yeah, but also like like I was saying before, like they studied, like Spotify did a thing on like Kylie Jenner showing music on her Instagram or her Snapchat story. Like she'll a video for like in the car, like listening to like Black's problems and stuff.
Yeah, it just
and, like,
blows
the
up
numbers
immediately.
on Spotify. It's like 800 times, 1,800 times more popular, like play, boom, like immediately, which is nuts. So I think.
Don't you think though it's a little sad that the people that are all famous on these social media platforms are all the same person? It feels like.
Talking about like the Kardashians, as far as like
like the Kardashians are like the copy paste default. Like if I said the word Instagram model, there's a million women you can think of, and a million dudes you can think of off the top of your head, and all of them look the same in your head.
Yeah.
I mean, like they're all pretty much default copy pastes of each other, and they all. And like the most uninteresting, like just void of personality Instagram model, as long as 1 out of every like 10 posts is a photo of her ass, it seems like that's all you need to be like a 50,000 person, 30,000, 20,000. Yeah.
I don't know what like, but see, that's the thing is I don't think we know about their personalities, you know, like we just because they're good
yeah, but a lot of times you do because that's what Instagram Live shows you, or the stories where they're fucking bleeding heart about an ex-boyfriend or something like that, like just the nothing, like the void of everything, you know.
I think what's scarier is that,
and don't you think that's even scarier that when there's not even that, when it's literally just a photo with a one word. And it's like, you ever click on an Instagram page and it's just like selfies in mirrors and like that's all it is. And like there's no captions, there's no hashtags, really hardly anything. And it's got like 80,000. And then you realize as well that like the people in the photos aren't the same people.
Yeah.
And then there's never a link to anything. And you're like, what is this? This person's making a fuck ton of money.
Yeah, they're just making money. And
they're just like, that's mine. That's mine. It's like the polar opposite of YouTube. Yeah. Because in YouTube, you can copyright anything you want. On Instagram, people can just take anything they want from you and sell it themselves.
Yeah, I think if you're posting it on Instagram, right, like I'm sure there's like a terms of service, like you're making it public space or something like that. Or I don't know how that works, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of those people who are on Instagram. Like I applaud any of those women who use their looks to get money because it's like, why not? Like,
yeah, you might as well.
If I was a chick, I'd fucking do it. Or if I was a dude who was like shredded and was like had great cheekbones and could just monetize that and get sponsors, cool. But I think I don't really worry about it, to be honest, because it's like I think there's gonna be people like that, and there's even more so if you want something to be scared about is the people who like indulge in it all the time.
Yeah,
like, the people who do it don't bother me. It's like the girls who like look at Kylie Jenner, and I don't have a problem with Kylie Jenner. I don't know much about her, but like she's like Kanye West wasn't lying when he said like the Kardashians are like the royal family. He's like, they're the royal family, and people are like, oh, how could you compare the two? I'm like, look at it, they're way more popular. I was like,
yeah, people actually like the Kardashians.
Girls do anything. Like Kylie Jenner has pop-up shops with her makeup lines, and girls, I think like I read a Vice piece on it, or Complex, or one of the two, and they were talking about how like people waited 8 hours in line in the rain. And the rules were like you could only be in there for like 45 minutes at a time because like they didn't want anyone just sitting in there and taking pictures with everything. Like you could take pictures, but you only had 45 minutes. That's it, and then you had to be out. Like they would be like, you got to leave, and you have to buy. If you come in, you have to buy something. Like
the whole culture of it is so weird to me because it's like, you know how many people, you know how when you go out you see there's like inevitable. I mean, the older the crowd gets, the less likely this is, but it feels like concerts anywhere you see like a younger audience, like 30 and below kind of thing. There's inevitably a handful of people in the audience that are just
on their phone,
head down on their phone, taking a selfie. That's the only time they smile. They put it back down. You know, they let their gut hang back out. They like that kind of thing. It's like, that's fun though. That's what the fun is.
Yeah. It's
like, do you know how frequently it feels like when you have a friend that goes out to a concert and then their Snapchat story is like every song got recorded and you just think to yourself like, were you even there?
Yeah.
You know, like, did you pay attention to any of the fucking thing? Because, and you know what's sad too is like, they're usually in the back and all they're recording really is the recordings other people are taking in front of them. The hundreds of thousands of other recordings of exactly the same thing that no one gives a fuck about.
Yeah.
When's the last time someone went to a concert, posted a story on their Snapchat and you were like, oh, I love this song. You turned it up and you were like,
yeah. I just let people know you're there. I took 2 30-second or 45-second videos for our podcast when I went to a concert, but just for that. But yeah, I remember I was like, I got to take a video for the podcast, and I put it back. But yeah, like I think just the human brain isn't wired to be connected to so many people. Like, and I'm so interested in like the next 30 years, what the studies are going to come out.
Well, it's also like
the connectivity on our brains.
Yeah. Or the lack of aptitude for entertaining yourself or like keeping yourself happy or whatever.
Yeah. Well,
social media gets people in trouble.
It does get people in trouble. And I think also like, I've read stuff about, like the dopamine release and all that shit in your brain when you look at colors and you see this phone and blah, blah, blah. But I think I read somewhere, and I've heard multiple times, that like the human brain is only really equipped to know 150 people.
Yeah.
Like, and so like, I do think that we're just not wired.
That still seems like a ton.
It's just crazy, but like,
unless it means just know of, like be able to recognize.
Or just like have like no, I'm not saying like, obviously you have like a circle, I don't know how many people that could be like you're close, but 150 people max, and then like your brain just doesn't have room. Like obviously you know of like athletes and stuff, but like I know this person from high school, I know this person, but like,
so you don't have to not like know anything about them.
Well, like I think
because I don't know that I could know something about 150 people.
Yeah, well, they're saying that's like that's on average like the max space your brain. Like your brain will just like delete shit. Like it's just like we don't know this person. Like that's why like obviously if you're a famous person, you've met thousands of people. Even if you met this person maybe even 10 times, like hey, I'm such and such, and they're like, oh, I've met you like this time, and you're like, oh, cool. Like
it's always cool when you hear about those stories of like old businessmen that like call up someone they only met at dinner once 3 years ago at a business meeting and to say happy birthday every year or something. It's just like, how do you stay in touch? How does that Rolodex not just like bust open with all these fucking contacts? It's insane.
It's just brain wise, but like I said, I also think with the whole staying connected, it's kind of it's just I don't think we're wired for it, and I think that's why you get that overload of people just on their phone, like, and it's just like I think it makes you just sit down and you get consumed in it, and I think that I don't know. Go ahead.
You know who recently got in trouble for social media shit?
Who?
Nick Young.
Again?
Do you know what he tweeted?
What?
I hate 2016 Golden State fans. They know nothing about basketball.
Oh, and he just signed with them.
And he just signed with Golden State this year.
Hey.
So maybe that's why Kevin Durant posted the brick photo. Nick Young, for those that don't know, is a mediocre Lakers player who has a lot of tattoos and calls himself Swaggy P.
But no tattoos on his right arms because that arm is strictly for buckets.
And just says dumb shit like that. And he's one of those guys. He's a brand. It's like how J.R. Smith is a brand, kind of.
Yeah, the one who cheated on Iggy Azalea.
Yeah, Nick Young was dating it. He's like a brand. He really is a brand. Like, I don't think that there's ever a chance that we're going to see like a champion Nick Young. We're not going to talk about him in the same way we talk about LeBron, but the dude's going to rack the money in because he's such a popular guy.
Oh, he's about to get a ring too.
And he's ring chasing. And so
Kevin Durant was ring chasing though.
Okay, they're both ring chasing.
Yeah. You know what's funny is like
Does that contest what I fucking said, Alex?
No, but ring chasing, it's funny because like it's used in a negative way, but then like I've heard like a sports analyst use it in a positive way too. They're like, oh, you just ring. Steph Curry was talking about like, yeah, these guys want to chase a ring, and I'm just like, isn't everyone ring chasing though? Like realistically,
no.
Like not. I think in the context, people think ring chasing is like, I'm gonna jump on the Cavaliers because we're automatically making it to the finals. I have a 50-50 chance once I get there, but like. And realistically, everyone in the NBA should be trying to win a fucking ring.
You just did one of those most triggering, like, probability things. Everything on the world either happens or it doesn't. Everything's 50-50. Yeah.
The chance.
A roll of dice, it lands on one, or it doesn't. 50-50.
It's a circle.
But yeah, so
it's a cube.
So he got traded, or he went to Golden State, and
he was a free agent. Yeah, he just signed.
Yeah, and he was trashing that fucking team's fans last year.
Shout out to fucking Nick Young. The Warriors, it's so unfair. No, actually, that's a lie. It is fair. It's within the rules of the game. So, like, if any other team could do what the Warriors were doing now, they would. So that's how I kind of rationalize it.
Yeah, from an owner standpoint.
Yeah, but
you can blame the players. Yeah. You can blame the players. You can't blame the owners. The owners' goal is to make it to the championship, earn their money, right? The players make their money, whatever, but you can still rag on them for jumping on that team's bandwagon. You can totally roast them for that. That's a totally legitimate reason to roast an NBA player because it's just like so clear what they're doing, It's like, I'm tired of losing. I'm going to join the most winning team in the NBA, Whereas you got those guys like Russell and Blake Griffin that are like, nah, I'm going to make something out of this. I want to be the big fish in the little pond. I want to be responsible for the win. I'm competitive. I don't want to like take the easiest route through anything, that kind of thing. that's an admirable stance from an NBA player because it keeps the NBA interesting.
Yeah, but it's also like in business. Like if you're on a failing company and you're making okay money, and if you can go to a company that's fucking thriving and you can make the same or more money, you would do it. You'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm not staying with blank. I'm gonna go join Apple. So that's like the same thing with teams.
Yeah, but the other problem is that when you're in a business, you're not like playing a game for. Like, it matters. Like, all this shit matters. Like, when you're in a business, it's like the person next to you's job is dependent on you doing your job, that kind of thing, etc. And so, even in the business world, you see guys that do that kind of stuff. Like, the guy that owns Fiat Chrysler. He jumped in. He's a hedge fund manager. And he's like, fuck it, I'll revive this bitch. And he bought the company and was like, took it over as CEO. And he's like, and then you see the stock price, like, slowly just crawl back out from the depths of hell.
Yeah.
Based on his management. And so it's like when you see that happen in a business setting, it's not the same as like in the NBA or in sports or something. It's like you signed up to play a game for people's entertainment, right?
Yeah,
so
to get paid, yeah.
So you can rag on that all you want. In business, sure, maybe you can see if that stands up to like the street test where you go ask people. It's like this man was working at IBM and he was going to get paid more at Lenovo. Or vice versa, and they took the job. Is he a pussy? Like.
Yeah. Well, I think.
Whereas in the streets, you go, Nick Young just signed to the Golden State Warriors after saying that 2016 Golden State fans were, knew nothing about basketball and that he hated them.
Well, I'm not a Warriors fan at all. I just think like it's kind of fucked up that like teams don't get shit. Like in 2008, like when the Boston Celtics traded for Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen, and they had that was like the first big three, and like no one was like, the fucking Celtics are pussies, bro.
There was, dude. When they had the big three, of course people were like,
people
bitching
were mad,
about Boston.
But like players, like when LeBron, like I mean the way he did the decision was kind of stupid. Like I decided I'm gonna take my talents to South Beach. It's hilarious. And like yeah, I get it, like taking shit, but like I like that players take their lives into their own hands. Like that they're like, hey, let's go play on this team. They have cap space. We can go both get paid max money and we'll fucking win this bitch. And I like it. I like taking the power away from the teams because like when teams trade you, you have no say. It's like, we traded you. There's no clause, unless you have a no trade clause in your contract. And so the Warriors, like it made me salty when Kevin Durant went at first and then I wasn't salty and then I was salty. Like go back and forth with it. But it's like, the only reason I was salty about Kevin Durant leaving is because that's the team that beat him in the playoffs. Like they were up 3-1, and then the Golden State Warriors came back to win in 7 for the Western Conference Finals. So like that, in that sense, I'm like,
yeah, but that's kind of like joining the other side of a war once your dudes start losing.
Yeah, that's what the problem I had. Like it would have been different if he was like on a team on the Eastern Conference and they lost, and then he said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna join the Warriors, and then I'm gonna win a championship." But them being the specific team that beat his team, like. I think that rubbed people the wrong way. But Nick Young, it's like you can play for the Lakers and you can make the same amount of money or less or maybe.
Well, I don't. Nick Young it's less of a thing, right? Because like Nick Young had no chance of joining a team, being a superstar, and taking them to a championship.
No,
so for him, it's not as big of. It's not like the Warriors are not going to change at all now that he's on the team. Yeah. They're the same team as they were before.
Yeah, and he's a perfect fit for them. He's like a spot up 3-point shooter.
Yeah, so it's like
perfect.
The Warriors, it's the same team now.
Yeah. If I was Nick Young, I'd play for the Warriors. Why not? You're going to win a ring.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you're going to be... Well, he's probably going to play like... I don't know.
Like 15 minutes a game?
Yeah, 15 minutes a game, maybe 20 minutes a game in the early season. But like that's pretty much all he'll play. And it's a little different. But when you're someone like Kevin Durant and you're a superstar...
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's different. Now, see, when you talk about how an employee leaves a job for another company that's doing better in the same market or something like that, we're not very contestable whether or not that was an honorable thing to do. But let's say the CEO jumped ship or something like that.
Went from Microsoft to Apple or vice versa.
Yeah, Steve Jobs is like, damn, Microsoft looks crazy. I'm leaving.
Yeah. They would, I mean, people would, there's no compete clause. Yeah.
And so when you see someone like Kevin Durant who has the power to really start a team that can compete against Golden State and give the fans what they want and stay competitive and keep the league competitive and earn the exact same amount of money, or he can take a pay cut, hop to Golden State, and then...
He didn't take a pay cut.
Well, he did this year to keep Nick Young. So it's like...
Genius.
He can do this...
And he's smart.
And just basically make the league irrelevant. Like the only series in the league that matters now is just the finals.
Yeah, well, I think that's also on the other teams is like bad management. Like if you first of all,
Not really, because when it comes to free agency, it's the player's decision.
Yeah, where they're going to sign or whose contract, but also contract offers and like so. Kevin Durant, accepted $10 million less. He signed a 2-year deal with the second year being a player option. Same thing LeBron does. He only signs 2-year deals. And it's like basically it's a 1-year deal, and I can decide if I want to stay the next year with you. And so he took $10 million less, so they got to re-sign Iguodala, Livingston, and they got Nick Young, which I think was genius in the sense that because Steph Curry's going to get paid, he got that $203 million deal. Good for him. Because he's been underpaid,
and he's been riding after that team since the start.
Oh my god, yeah, they said that's like the most. They think that's like the most underpaid contract of all time. $14 million a year for a back-to-back MVP and 3 finals appearances with 2 wins, which is insane. But I think it's genius that Kevin Durant did that because now when Klay Thompson and Draymond Green's contracts comes up, he can say, "I took less money. Let's all take a little less money, and we can keep the team together and keep winning," which is like a first. A lot of players don't do that, but I think it's bad management from other teams as far as like, obviously Kevin Durant going was a huge decision and that really shaped the league. But like, it's your job as a GM to preserve cap space to where you can sign big name agents and just run your fucking team in a good way. You know what I mean? And also, it's kind of not fair, but location has a big point in that. Like,
and we talk about this, but it's like
the Warriors are in San Francisco or Oakland technically, but they're building a new arena in San Francisco, which is like 5 miles across the bay.
Yeah.
But it's just, like if you're the Lakers or you're the Miami Heat or the New York Knicks, you're just always going to have a better chance. In Oklahoma City, I mean, fuck Oklahoma City. Who wants to play there? Yeah. It's just, so I don't know. I think it's the league's job to catch up. And I think this year will be more competitive. Obviously the Cavs are still going to be there. And I mean, the West has gotten insanely crazy. And I think that the Warriors are still going to make the finals, but with the West getting way more competitive, and it was already crazy competitive, I think that'll fatigue the Warriors more, like night in and night out having to play now you're going to have to play the Rockets, and then you're going to have to play the Spurs the next day, and then you're going to have to play, just everyone, just boom, boom, boom. Yeah,
but the problem is this. It's like the league didn't get any more competitive in my eyes because the competition comes in the playoffs, right? Mm-hmm. Preseason competition, season, whatever. Mm-hmm. It's all about these series that you win in the playoffs, right? Like if you come in 8th seed, doesn't matter. You're in the same running as everyone else is, right?
Yeah, but if you're the 8th seed, you got to play Golden State in the first round.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to play them regardless if you want to make it to the finals.
Yeah, but you have a better it's better for you if you make it to the Western Conference Finals. Like you feel more confident, like we can beat them and make it to the finals. But in the first round, if you're just getting your ass whipped by Golden State, you're like, well, better luck next year,
Yeah, but here's the thing: is like it's funny to me that you even humor it won't be Golden State and Cleveland.
No, I think it was gonna be
the only team I can possibly see. And people are talking about how Chris Paul and James Harden are going to give the Warriors a run for their money.
No, they're going to
take my word for it. No, they won't.
They'll make it harder, but it won't be a run for their money. No.
It will be a 4-0 sweep in the playoffs.
I think they win a game. The Spurs.
It blows my mind to me that Cleveland took a game off them in the finals. That blows my mind. It blows my mind that anyone takes a game off that team. Because what were they? They had like 7 losses in the season. What was it? 7, 9,
more. I think like 10 or something like that. But
I don't think they had double digits.
It was the year before they did the 71-9 or 72-9. It wasn't this year. This year was like 60 something and like 12 or something like that. But it's still it's still fucking amazing record. It doesn't anything over 60 wins is like insane in basketball. So to get like 69 or 68 wins is still.
It blows my mind though that anyone's out here really preaching.
See, I think the Spurs were going to give them a run for their money in the Western Conference Finals until Kawhi got hurt.
The Spurs are the wild card. The Spurs can always.
Yeah, and they were the second. They were the second seed. So like this, they were a couple wins behind Golden State, and people don't talk about it because Golden State was just trailblazing. But the Spurs had like 60 something wins too, and then. Like I said, the first game they were playing the Western Conference Finals, they were up by like 30 points in the third quarter, and Kawhi had 26 points in 22 minutes. And then he gets hurt, and then we all know what happens when they get swept. But
yeah, he got injured.
I remember watching the game going, oh my fucking God, like this is it. Kawhi is out here showing these motherfuckers like, not today.
Popovich with no sweat.
Oh yeah, Popovich just loving it. And then he was losing his mind when they started losing. So I think
because they lost all because of
an injury,
an intentional injury.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
I mean, they lost because Kawhi wasn't given landing space on a jump shot and he twisted his ankle. And he wasn't given landing space on purpose. Like, it was an intentional injury.
Yeah.
And I don't know that there was a fine. There was no fines, none of that, right?
No.
So it's like, I mean,
got a foul. That's it.
At the end of the day, like, we know how to beat Golden State. Just stand out of them when they take their jump shots. I mean, that's if people did to Golden State what Pachulia did to Kawhi Leonard, Golden State wouldn't win the finals. And that's what's fucked up about this whole finals run as well. That's part of the reason why Golden State's so hateable is because you've got a guy out there that plays dirty like that, and he is doing shit that directly injures jump shooters and glass cleaners. Yeah. And if you look at your team, it's all jump shooters and glass cleaners. If you decided to, so Spurs this year just randomly for $500,000 signed some big fucking Russian guy. You're like, I don't know what he's for. And then when they play Golden State in the playoffs, all of a sudden Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Kevin Durant's ankles are broken and they're out of the game or they're out for the season. It's like if the Golden State Warriors are going to allow shit like that on their team, then they need to suffer some of the consequences of that kind of thing, because what he did is directly counterintuitive to the play style of Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, that kind of stuff.
Well, I think they'll get more fatigued this season just for the fact, like, when a team's in your conference, like if you're in a Western Conference, you play, I think, each Western Conference team 4 times, and you play the opposite conference team twice. So you have to play double as many games in your conference as that one. So, like, if, for example, Golden State, you're going to play, like, I'm not going to name all the teams that are like super competitive now in the West, but you're going to have to play all these tough teams more than you're going to play the weaker Eastern Conference.
Yeah, but you also don't have to be the first seed.
No, you don't have to.
If you're Golden State, if you could finesse your way into the 8th seed and keep all your players really rested.
Yeah. Well, the 8th seed, I mean, they're not going to get the 8th seed.
I know, but I'm saying if you could just finesse your way into the 8th seed and keep all of your players really rested, it totally defeats. Like, there's no reason that Golden State needs to be the first seed.
No. And they're going to just for fuck's sake, but
they will, because it's like all of them can shoot from half court.
Yeah, but I know Cleveland, like last year, this year LeBron's going to even more rest. I guarantee you he takes off at least 20 games, because it's like he can take off 20 games and they'll still be the 2nd seed. Like the Boston was 1st seed last year. Like it was the game came down to like. It came down to the final game of the season. He was going to get the 1st seed, and Cleveland rested Kyrie, LeBron, and Love. They're like, we don't give a fuck. Take the 1st seed. Like, we're going to the finals. No problem.
Yeah.
Which was kind of funny. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, I talked about this before. I think the NBA should reseed the conferences, because, like, no matter, that would get rid of what conference was stronger. Like, if I read somewhere, like, if they did last year, if they just did the first top 16 best records, Cleveland would have been a 5th seed. Like, would have been the 5th best record in the whole NBA.
Yeah, but then the problem then is that as like the NBA, you have no regional excitement. All of the East Coast is like, all right, fuck it, I'm done.
But see, in the future, when I'm sure like pendulums swing, but the West, because the Western Conference, I think I talked about this before, like the last 19 years, like I think it was.
Also, you realize that then what'll happen is all of the Eastern teams are fucked, because every one of their games they have to play, they have to travel now.
Yeah, well, same thing for the Western ones, though.
Yeah, but the Westerners will be playing Westerners much more frequently than the Easterners will be playing Westerners, right? Yeah, but so what's happening now is that the travel is like cross continent versus just being like up and down the coast now.
Yeah, until the finals is usually when it's the longest.
Yeah, but that's the point. Like, and the point too is that like if you're a Knicks fan. Mm-hmm. And you reseed all of the NBA so that you have 8 Western teams in the top 8. Well, then who gives a fuck? You don't give a shit about the NBA real quick. Yeah. And so even though your team's not gonna be Cleveland or Golden State, it's fun to watch your team go to the playoffs and see how far they get.
It is. But I just think as far as like a merit standpoint, like
the NBA is great about merit.
Well, no, but it should be, because in the like eventually when the East becomes stronger than the West, which like everything's cyclical. But I mean for the past like 20 years, the West has just dominated as far as like conference. Then the East will have more teams. Like it should be that way. And then they should also redo the schedule where you play every team like 3 times. Like I just said, you play the teams in your conference like 4 times, and you play the other ones 2.
So you could
reseed it.
See that you could get into, but that only makes sense if you're going to eliminate the seeding, like the coastal seeding. But the problem is like It doesn't matter. Like your coastal seating. See, I so disagree with this because it's like we just have. So basically, if we do this right, let's say
you get like 4 teams from the East as opposed to 8. You'd get Cleveland, Boston, Washington, and maybe like the Bucks.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't get 4 teams from the East. You get 1 team from the East.
No, because like Boston had a better record than some Western teams. Like, you know, the Pacers wouldn't have made it because the Pacers had like 41 and 41.
Okay, you get 2 Eastern teams.
I don't know.
Great. We get 2 Eastern teams. One of them's way the fuck down there. The other one's way the fuck up here. As a Charlotte fan,
well, Charlotte's not making the playoffs regardless, dude. It don't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because if somehow Charlotte makes it to the playoffs, I'm excited. I'm hyped. I'm watching the games.
Sure.
Because they're my regional team. Yeah. If you do this, I'll see you in 30 years when I have fucking wrinkles on my face. Like, do you understand how?
No, I understand it.
It's basically like saying you're a toe tipping motherfucker because you have family on the West Coast in California. So for you, not a big deal if only West Coast teams go. Yeah. For someone like me, because you're a fucking Lakers fan, that's your fucking problem here.
I would like to see.
Try living in Oklahoma and trying to get hype about the NBA once Russell Westbrook retires.
I would like to see the Charlotte make the playoffs because I would like to see them do well. Of course, I mean it'd be great.
Yeah, because it's the other place you live.
Yeah, it's cool. You know, I play both sides, but I just think like even if it was the Eastern Conference that was stronger, I would say the same thing because I just think it's fucked up. Like on either conference, if you have a team that has 50 wins and they don't make the playoffs because they're the 9th seed in the West, but you have a team that's 41 and 41 and they make it to the playoffs, and it's like the whole point of the playoffs is the best teams playing the best teams.
But the best team plays the best team every time.
Yeah, but if there are better teams in the playoffs, there could have been some upsets. Like if you drop off, let's say on the West, right? Because you have
how many playoff games did you watch?
I watched like 7 of them. Maybe?
7 of them.
Yeah,
because we watched all the finals games.
Yeah, I watched all the finals.
There's 5,
and then I watched
2 other ones.
I watched the game Boston beat.
You weren't gonna see the upset.
No, I watched the game Boston beat Cleveland, and then I watched the game where Kawhi got hurt.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
So you weren't gonna see the upset.
No, I just think the NBA needs a reshaping, and also real quick, the fucking playoffs do not need to be 7-game series. Let's for sure make them like 5-game series or something. Like 7 games is just redundant in my opinion. Yeah, Golden State swept. Like the first round does not need to be 4. Like it should be just boom, boom, boom. I would actually.
Well, then why not just make the finals 5?
See, Christian, I'm about to ruffle some feathers right here with this comment. The NBA Finals should be like March Madness. 1 game, you go home. I need like college basketball. A March Madness tournament, it's a fucking huge seeded bracket. 1 game, you go home. That's it. You lose that game. I think it'd be way more exciting.
Yeah, but then who do you play it in? Who's?
Well, you have it the same way, or like maybe you could have more teams in the playoffs. And let's say you do like I don't know.
Why not do like an aggregate score? You have a best of 3 and you have an aggregate score. And home points are worth less than away points.
Nah, I think you should just make it even. Home points, away points.
All right, then we'll play 4 games and have an aggregate score.
Or you can do 3-game series, and the person who gets home court advantage gets the first. Or like or it's 5-game series, and I think like the first 3 games are all at home or something like that. Or you give like 4 out of 5 games to the team that has home court advantage. That'd be like real home court advantage. Because now it's like I think you get 2, and the away team gets 2. And then you get 1-1-1. So you get game 1, 2, 4, or 1, 2, 5, and 7 at home if you have home court advantage. Which is like, it's aight. But you just get 1 more game than them, you know?
Yeah, but that matters.
It does. But like, if you made it so like home court advantages, you get 4 out of 5 games at home. It's like, then you would play to be like, we need fucking home court advantage. We need to play harder.
Yeah, I mean, teams that lose would complain about that. But it would be interesting.
Stop losing. Don't lose.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting.
It would get rid of like.
I'm not gonna sit here and be like.
It would get rid of not caring. Like it would get rid of like the resting people.
Well, you know what else would get rid of resting people? 4 games, aggregate score, 2 at home, 2 away.
Yeah.
Whoever has the highest point total at the end.
Yeah, Americans don't fuck with that shit, but I agree.
Yeah, of course it wouldn't because you don't have buzzer beaters.
No,
but yeah.
I agree with you. I think they should do that, or like I said, the March Madness, because like the Super Bowl is so big because it's 1 fucking game. It's 1 game, and this is it.
Yeah, and they play in a neutral city.
Yeah, they play in a neutral city, which is bullshit. Home court advantage, bitch. You should. fuck it, you got a better record, we're taking it. But in the NBA, it should just be a tournament. It should be like, hey, bitch, we're just going for it. You lose this game, it's over. And because people this year didn't care about the playoffs. It was like Golden State's gonna win.
Well, yeah, because no one's cared about dude. If you live anywhere but Cleveland or Golden State, or you're a dick rider for either of them, you didn't give a fuck about the playoffs like for the past 3 years, 4 years. Yeah. And so, could you imagine how little of a fuck you'd give about the playoffs if you live somewhere like Phoenix and they make it like, you make or like you're a Portland fan and they decide to flatten the coast and you get your top 8 seeds are from anywhere in the nation, right?
Hey, bro.
Just picture that. Just picture that. Just picture how little of a fuck you give in Portland.
Yeah. I mean, I understand the NBA from a business standpoint. You want the most amount of eyes from the most diverse.
From a fan standpoint, you want to see your team go. So which standpoint are you talking from?
No, I think it's just a merit standpoint. If you have a sucker ass team, they're not making the playoffs. It's just you have to be good to make it.
When you get pulled over for going 5 miles over the speed limit, are you like, on a merit-based standpoint, I should have been pulled over, sir?
No, because
is that how you feel?
It has to do with me, and my hypocrisy will kick in.
Yeah, that's how I fucking thought.
Amen. But it's just, I don't know. The NBA is some donkey dick.
So, do we talk about Logic or North Korea?
Let's
save the North Korea. Let's let that one develop a little bit.
It's just.
So we've moved the album reviews to this show because we know no one will listen to it. So you're not burdened anymore with our album review. So we did Logic's, we did the topical, the very present Logic's Under Pressure Deluxe Edition. Thanks, by the way. I'm so glad I got to listen to the deluxe version.
The 3 extra songs. You're welcome.
So we did Logic, Under Pressure. What do you like about the album? You're wrong. So the reason why the album, is okay. I'm gonna say this here. Logic is a really cool guy. He seems like a good role model. He's a chill dude. Seems very relatable. Incredibly talented. But I historically don't like his music, and that's the reason why we brought this up. Mm-hmm. So why do you like Logic? And I'll tell you why I don't like Logic.
I like Logic because he's relatable, and then I like his raps. Like I just like his flow and his style. Just I don't know, I like a J. Cole. I think Logic's storytelling is cool. I don't know. I fuck with his music. I don't like. It's not a personal thing. Like I mean, yeah, he's a cool guy. I don't know him personally, but from what I've seen online, he seems like a real relatable and like just honest person, which I like. But I like his music, especially this first album. It's my favorite as far as Logic projects go. But like, I don't know. What about you? Why do you not like him?
My problem with Logic is that I feel like he wastes too many bars, and it comes off corny, for lack of a better word. Mm-hmm. I want this to be said because now I'm inadvertently aware that anything can make it to anyone on the internet. I don't want Logic to be sitting there and be like, oh, I'm fucking shit, I guess, because he's not. He's clearly very gifted, super talented, has incredible amounts of potential, but he throws away so many bars. And it's what I like to call rapping about rapping, where he's like, oh man, goddamn, yeah, I said goddamn, I gotta switch my flow up because up, like I'm glow up, just like said nothing for 4 bars in a row. And when he prides himself on storytelling and being like this Tarantino fucking, Frank Sinatra character, he picked like the greatest singer of all time and the greatest filmmaker of all time. He's like, yeah, I'm them. And for some reason people aren't like, or your hubris is getting to you, and just one of those kind of characters. And when you're talking about, even in the songs where he says like, oh yeah, I can't waste a bar, that kind of thing, and then he goes, I'm not gonna talk about my bank account, and then he talks about how he spent $500,000 of his own money on his album, like 4 lines later you're like, yeah, what about that bank account again? It's like, it seems to me like I'm not gonna waste a bar and then let me waste a couple bars because I'm flowing and I'm hard, just any words that rhyme. He's more concerned with the rhyme scheme and the flow, I think, than he is with the message. And that's what makes Schoolboy Q so interesting to me, is that he could give a fuck if anyone's ever rapped the way he's rapping. His delivery could be so weird. As long as he gets the story out, it makes sense to him, or as long as he doesn't throw shit away. So you don't have to necessarily rap about your own life and rap about a story that exists, but develop some content. Fuck, like there's so many songs on here I feel like where it's him rapping about rapping, saying the word goddamn over and over again, talking about his own flow on the track. Like, I can fucking hear it, dude. I know. And, you know, saying like, I gotta get it. You know, I gotta get it. If you're not with it, then I'm with it because I gotta get it. I wake up every day and I gotta get it, and I've changed my flow. Goddamn, oh man, you know, just like didn't say anything, but he said it really fast, and everyone's like, "Woo, fire!" Like there's a difference between bars and like an incredible flow, and he has an incredible flow. I just don't think he has bars like that. And
sipping on the haterade right now.
And if he on his most recent album, you know, he's got that one track he talks about. Little like Bobby Tarantino, he calls himself, but Logic, where he's growing up in Maryland and like he was abandoned and talking about his upbringing, and you know, mentioned it was mixed a couple times, but we're gonna let him slide on that one, and like all of this crazy shit that happened to him in his past, all in one song, not once, except for on Growing Pains 3, which, spoiler, is my favorite song on the album.
Yeah, it's a good song.
The only time he talks about his past, it feels like it's on that.
Yeah,
you know, he hits you with heavy-handed nicotine metaphors and raps about his own flow.
Yeah. Well, I like on the album, well, there's a lot of songs I like on it, but I like Soul Food is a good one. I like the intro to that. It's just like the way it comes in. It's just goddamn. It comes in with a hard flow. But yeah, Growing Pains is good. What the fuck? There's Growing Pains, never enough. Metropolis. I like Metropolis a lot. But
yeah, I mean, Buried Alive, Growing Pains 3, and the Childish Gambino track, I like those tracks.
Yeah.
But it just feels to me like so many other songs are just like filler bars. Well, and at some point in the album, the girl is like, he's recorded
Thalia
shit tons of songs or whatever.
Yeah.
She quotes some number, and it's like, but he's only ever released a fraction of them. It's like 10% of them or something like that. And I'm like, dude, what were those songs about? How nothing was said in those songs for you to, these were the ones you released.
I think he does have a message though. I think it's just like what he's talking about. Like he talks in a lot of his songs, he's talking about how he grew up and like his mom's drug addiction and his dad's and his brother selling crack and shit like that. Like gang related, talking about like the first verse of him and then the second verse of like from his brother's perspective of like.
But he might touch on stuff like that, but I feel like we're never getting a track out of him. So like we listened to a couple of Bryson Tiller songs, and he has that song, Don't Judge Me. Mm-hmm. And he says, you know, he talks about how he just fired his manager because he was fucking up his vision. And he like sent a message to his manager and like brought up all of this like real shit essentially. And tried to be like a mature person about it and being like, look, you know, if you shape before you, I got a position, that kind of thing. And it's like, damn, like, thanks for letting us into your personal life, that kind of stuff. But when you're rapping about like your flow and stuff like that, and you're using ad libs to try and like fill the void where you don't have anything to say, then all it sounds like is like, hello kids, my name's Curtis Blow. You gotta know.
It's more on his other projects. I think you're thinking about like Bobby Tarantino and like.
No, I'm thinking about the album I just heard.
There's no. See, I disagree with you because I feel like on Soul Food he's telling a good story. On Metropolis, like you said, or not Metropolis, you said Growing Pains 3 is a good one. Under Pressure for sure, the title track is insane. And then there's a lot of tracks on there he's telling a story. So I disagree with you. I like him. I think
you can disagree with me. I'm not saying you can't, but I am saying that from my perspective, the reason why I don't like the dude
is because you think he wastes
is I think he wastes too many of his bars.
I do agree with you on that sense.
It's just like Busta Rhymes, and I gotta get it, and you know I gotta get it, and I'm flowing every minute because I'm, you know, like that kind of thing. And if you listen to what he said in there, everyone's like, that's so fire. You listen to what he said in there, he's just like repeated the same thing eight times in a row and got nowhere in the progress.
Nice, and I'm nice and I'm cool and I'm nice. Yeah. I see. I agree with you on the criticism of Logic on the like Bobby Tarantino mixtape. Like there was a lot about that, like with Flexecution and like some of the songs on there, like I didn't fuck with because it sounded very like just how you're explaining.
Well, he also proposed that to be like, here's my turn up album with a bunch of 90s beats on it.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, we're not turning up to that anymore.
Yeah. But this, as far as like projects go, I think is my favorite. As far as like Growing Pains,
it's my favorite project of his.
Yeah. Growing Pains especially. I like I like how the song, like he talks about just it's the rural delivery, and then when the beat switches up and he's talking about like, I wish I could just fade away and like watch TV, and he like.
Yeah, but when you think about it, right, think about this versus Duckworth from Damn.
Kendrick. Yeah, but they're two different rappers, though. You know, like it's just kind of like.
All right, well, think about Growing Pains, or think about Growing Pains versus Hoover Street. Yeah, all I'm saying is like, there's clearly a way to talk about your past that's really enticing, and I'm saying that some people are probably really enticed by Logic. He clearly has like a cult following. It's just like Playboi Carti's Magnolia for me. I'm clearly in the minority for people that don't like Logic like that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this as well, like, it's not like I don't like him. If he comes on, I'm not skipping the song, that kind of thing. It's more of just like, I'm not going to go out of my way to seek out a Logic. Like, I have a Kanye playlist. I'm never going to have a Logic playlist.
He has an Eminem type flow.
Yeah, but then the problem is that Eminem said stuff.
Well, yeah, Eminem talked about killing his mother and shit like that.
But like, there's that song like Joe Budden Thinks I Can't Rap by Wi-Fi's Funeral. It's like some random track he put out, right? Mm-hmm. That sounds like an Eminem track. Yeah. Like the extended metaphor shit. The flow's crazy. The rhyme scheme is nuts. That kind of thing.
With Logic, I think there needs, like, it's weird. I think he kind of reverse progress. Like, I mean, the Incredible True Story I thought was cool. It's different, but this album is my favorite, and then that, like, is my second. And this newest album is cool, but it's not like my...
Well, if you count Bobby Tarantino, I think Bobby Tarantino was easily his least impressive project.
Yeah, there's a couple songs there I like 44 Bars, and there's like when he's like just rapping, and he's just actually rapping.
Yeah.
But I think...
But it speaks up volumes about your album when you come out with an album and people are memeing about how you're mixed, and everyone, all they ask is, did you hear the J. Cole verse at the end?
Yeah, I don't see it. His last album, Everybody, I think was... Like, it almost seemed like it was a personal battle, and I'm not saying he shouldn't have made an album about it, because there's some good songs on there, but, like, I feel like that was, like, an internal, like, dialogue that should have been had. Because, like, even in the J. Cole verse on the most recent album, J. Cole talks about, like...
Drop the race shit.
Yeah, like...
The whole album was about race.
Yeah, fuck being mixed. J. Cole's mixed, you know? James Black and White, he's like, just fuck being mixed and be happy to be you and just move forward from there. Which I liked. I thought it was, like, a cool, like, ending to just kind of being like, hey, be happy about it. But I like this Under Pressure specifically because, like... I felt like you felt the tension in it, in my opinion. Like,
you did.
You felt, and I love albums where rappers, like, it's almost sad that happens. Like, once fame and money are attained, and the hunger goes away a little bit, I think. And I think in Under Pressure, like, especially the title track when he raps about, you know, like the first couple minutes of, you know, it's that one hard kind of flow, and he's just like rapping about being himself. And then, like, when he starts rapping from his sister's perspective and his brother's perspective or his dad's perspective about him, like, I like that kind of opening into his life when he's just talking about, like, sorry for being away and I've been working hard, I'm sorry, you know, and shit like that. But my favorite track on the album, I struggle with this because I've had so many different favorite ones. I think Growing Pains is up there, but I have to go with the title track, Under Pressure. I don't know, that one just hits me. That one and Metropolis are pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like there either needs to be... Well, one, it doesn't feel like there's a ton of experimentation going on.
No, it's very like a soulful...
And if you take Logic's career and you extend it out, it's kind of like how Joey Badass evolved, right? Mm-hmm. Joey Badass came out, he's like, boom bap 90s beat, and I'm going to rap about KKK or whatever. You know, it's like, whatever he picked, right? And then he kind of has developed his sound since then. He's kind of found a singing voice somewhere in there as well. Like, he's really kind of evolved as an artist. Logic's Turn Up album sounds like Under Pressure.
Yeah.
Like, the instrumentals are the same. The flow is the same.
Yeah. Under Pressure is like...
I mean, I think that if I were to go back in time and give myself advice about listening to Logic, I'd be like, go back, listen to Under Pressure, and you could probably just stop.
Yeah.
Because that's what it all sounds like.
Yeah. Did you like Gang Related?
Yeah, I mean, the album was good. Like, the album was good. It wasn't a bad album. Like, from a skill standpoint, here's how I'd like if I break out mentally what I'm going through when I'm reading an album, it's like the lyrics are really important to me. Mm-hmm. Did you say anything? That's excusable if the production is ridiculous, which is why I'm into Travis Scott. And if it's unique, right? If you're just designer and you just sound exactly like Future and you make his songs over and over again, it's just like whatever to me, right? And so for Logic, like, the lyrics sometimes are cool. Other times I feel like I'm being explained something that I understood.
Yeah.
Like the song Nicki started, and he like sang, and then he gave like a really heavy-handed metaphor to nicotine.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, you make my lungs black. And I'm like, you can't even pretend you're talking about a girl anymore. Like, the illusion that this isn't a metaphor, because the whole point of like making a metaphor in a rap song, in my opinion at least, is like hang on till as long as you can before they figure out what you're actually talking about, and then hit them with it.
That
like
one,
Black or the Berry. It's like last verse, it flips on you, and you're like, holy shit, that song's incredible.
That heavy-handed, the Making Lungs Black was bad, because like the one where he says, I love it when you take your top off and we share the same breath. Like that one's okay, because you can kind of like, you can imagine taking the top off a girl, but instead of like the top off of a cigarette box. But yeah, the Make My Lungs Black. I was like,
but then he says nicotine. He like calls it out for you. Yeah. And I'm in the shower going, I know. I got that far.
That was my.
It's like Kanye West song about Chi-Town.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't pick that one up until like the end.
Yeah, I know, but like that's the way you do it, right? Because when he says it at the end, you're like, son of a bitch, I was about Chicago, and you listen to the song again, you're like, that's crazy. That was actually really impressive. This is like, it's nicotine, cool. Okay, it's clearly nicotine.
That was my least
And then
favorite
Bobby
song.
Tarantino over here, like, oh, I'm Tarantino with the plot twist. It's nicotine, and you're like, I know.
That was my
but
least
you know what I
favorite
didn't
song.
know? I didn't know Marcellus Wallace was going to get capped the fuck out in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
You know, like that's not what I didn't know that was going to happen.
My favorite. I
didn't know Zed was dead, but I knew that was about nicotine, dog.
That is one of my favorite lines on the album is when he says, what will they write upon my grave? A free man born as a king who died as a slave. I thought that was a cool, like, as far as like explaining being addicted to cigarettes and like just that's gonna kill you, you know, like born.
Yeah, and like bars like that, clever.
That I didn't like that song is my least favorite on the album because the replayability factor.
Yeah,
because like the first time you hear it, you can hear it and like
it's like Crackdown.
Yeah, even if you didn't get it to the end and you're like, I'm in love with a nicotine, you're like, oh shit, it's about nicotine, whatever. Like after I know the metaphor, the song isn't like lyrical or clever enough to where I'm gonna listen to it again and again, you know, like there's certain songs where even though if you know like, oh, this is just a long metaphor for a song, I'll listen to it and you're like, okay, cool, you know. But that one, it's like once I've heard it one time, I just skip it every time now.
Yeah, cool. And it's like, so I think another reason why he comes off a little like I'll use the word again, but I know it sounds it's kind of extra harsh to use it for Logic, but corny, is because if you're going to compare yourself to Frank Sinatra, the Rat Pack, and Tarantino, you can't come through with weak metaphors. You have to have lyricism, and you have to sound original and different, or do it the best anyone's ever done it, right? Because you're like, it basically is like if someone sat down, they're like, I'm LeBron James, Cristiano Ronaldo, God, Tarantino, Scorsese, Frank Sinatra, and I don't know, and I'm Taylor Swift with the Pot Boy. Like it's like, if you're Steph Curry if you're Steph Curry with the Shot Boy, and you're Mama Curry with the Pot Boy, like you need to show that shit. And so like comparing himself 24/7 to Frank Sinatra and Tarantino and not coming through with like that level project just sounds really lame. You know, it's like, it's the reason why all these rappers can compare themselves to like Ric Flair, because what did he do? He walked around, he went whoa, and then he bought Rolexes and shit. And so it's really it's exactly what a rapper does, really. And
what did you like about Growing Pains, real quick?
I just thought like the story was interesting. I thought the intro to the track was pretty cool, because I was kind of picking up on it. I'm like, oh, these are two dialogues that are happening at separate locations right now. Yeah, you know, and then they meet, and I'm like, okay, that's an interesting way to start a track. And then they go throughout the story, and it was just like it was an interesting childhood story. And it was what I hate actually is when a rapper has a story that they're telling in an album. So Big Fish Theory, love the album. Apparently that was a story.
Yeah. Who knew?
Who knew? Yeah. It's news to me. Just like how apparently in every song was a different person's perspective.
Yeah.
Fucking news to me.
Surprise.
So when it's a story, like tell it like a story.
Yeah.
No great story was ever told like just crashed a sports car.
Yeah.
So much for fast life. Like no story was ever told that way.
I like the effects in Growing Pains where like the high pitched voice that was singing with him on certain parts. When he's like, maybe my mom, and you hear like the high pitched mama locked up today or something like that. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and so it's like
weird harmony.
And like I was listening to an interview with Smino recently, like 2 days ago on Rosenberg, and he said that he didn't think an album is done unless you've gone back through the whole thing again and play with your voice in parts. Saw what worked and what didn't.
Yeah.
And like that's what Kendrick does. It's what Smino did. J. Cole plays with his voice. Yeah. Like they all do that kind of stuff, and like Logic just doesn't, it seems. And he did it some on that song, which was what made it unique, you know. There's another artist I discovered recently. His name is Killy, and he has only like a couple songs out, but he has like, they're all kind of bangers and they're all kind of trap bangers. But he sounds different. Like he just provides that little bit of different vocal kind of like accent to the song that makes it sound okay, cool. This guy's not exactly the same as everyone else is.
Like Young Thug.
Yeah, like Young Thug. Hate him or love him, weirdest vocalist on the planet Earth, and that's what keeps people attracted to him.
He uses his voice like an instrument almost.
Yeah, or like a seal getting clubbed sometimes.
Did you like the
Rihanna track?
Did you like the change on Growing Pains when he went to sleep and like the beat changes and he's like talks about just fading in and out of like watching TV and pretending that he has a family?
Yeah, I mean, like the whole thing, the whole track in general, like the fact that it had a concept and a story was cool.
Yeah,
like more like that, and I'm sold. But. I don't want to hear you yell, "Oh man, goddamn!" again. That's like some Dexter ad-lib shit. Like that's how fucking I get the drift of my walk. Oh man, goddamn! Yeah, it's like okay, cool, I get it, man. But can we rap about not this or not your flow? Especially if you've got like this crazy backstory apparently that you're gonna tell.
What do you think about Under Pressure, the title track? The 11 minutes, the one that was like 11 minutes.
Yeah, is that the one? That's the one as well. I think I might have been in the shower yesterday when I heard that, and that's the one where he's on the train with the girl talking about.
No, that's
Tarantino flicks.
Metropolis. The Under Pressure is the one where it's like, work so fucking much. My greatest fear is I'm gonna die alone. I'm talking about, and then like it's the 11 minutes, and it's like I've been working hard. I've been searching for God, and it's like voicemails from his brother and his dad, and he's like rapping from his sister's perspective, and then his dad's, and then he's rapping from his own.
Yeah, I mean, you're having to remind me of it, so I mean that should explain.
You just don't listen. But yeah, no, I think if I were like, my least favorite, like I said, was Nicki. I think, I don't know. I fuck with the song. I think because this album came out like right before I went to California. It came out October. I remember October 14th, 2014. I remember like my friend texted me about it, and like I didn't buy it. Obviously, I had Spotify or some shit, but I listened to it then, and I listened to it before Forest Hills Drive came out. So like it was a specific, which is important, I think, in my head about like someone told me one time, or maybe Drake had said it like. Someone
told me.
Drake said it. I know.
Someone told me.
I had to remember it wasn't
Drake
like a person who said it. Drake told me. Aubrey told me. He was talking about.
Thank you, Mr. Graham.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Graham. People were complaining. I don't know. This is like maybe before or after Take Care of like, we want you to make something like So Far Gone again. And he was like, I can't give you that moment back in your life. Like maybe you were in college and there was a girl you knew and you heard the album and like it kind of just it brings you back to that time. And he kind of made a good point of like, I can't give you that moment in your life back again.
Yeah.
And I thought it was very interesting because like I realize now when I hear certain albums, when I heard them in my life, like mean more to me. Like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy reminds me of like high school in the morning. Or
yeah. It's like how nowadays I can listen to The Sun's Tirade.
Yeah. And you just hear it and you're like, okay, it's like you fuck with it. So I think this album is good on its own, but because of when I heard it, like it has a fond place. Like it's one of my favorite rap albums just because of that. Like, and if I were to give it a rating, which you're not going to agree with me on this, I already know you're going to be blown away right now. I would give it like an 8.5 or like a 9.
Okay.
8.5 or 9.
I thought it was a double digit coming out of
that. No. 10 is 10. Like, don't get me wrong. Like Forest Hills Drive came out after, and like this is one of my favorite rap albums. Like I've heard this album so many times. I can't remember how many times I've heard this album. Like maybe 100 times, maybe more. But like 8.5 or 9, I think, because of when I heard it and just like I fuck with this album. It's my favorite Logic album. Like I think it always will be. Even if he dropped a fire album, like it'll just be like one of them. Like I hold it in the same category, not as far as how good it is, but like importance in my life as 2014 Forest Hills Drive. Like up, that's top shelf, and then you got Logic right under. So that's my shit.
I think I give it I think I give it a 6.5 because it's an above average album. Super skilled. Beats are not interesting, and the stories are underwhelming based on the comparisons that are made, the character comparisons between him and Frank Sinatra and Tarantino and all that shit. And I feel like there are too many filler bars, and I don't know that we have any room for you to be a conscious rapper and have filler bars anymore.
Yeah,
because people like, they're different rappers, but people like Kendrick and Schoolboy and Absol and shit exist. There's just not exactly room for these filler bars.
I wouldn't classify Schoolboy as conscious though.
No, but when he decides to make a track like Groovy Tony or dude, if you listen to the Blank Face EP, like that whole entire there's not filler bars on that. I mean, and that's because they all fit a purpose. They're not all necessarily telling stories or anything like that. But
I miss Break the Bank. I don't know why. I remember.
But like Hoover Street and fucking Tukey Knows Part 2.
Yeah. Some of his older shit people sleep on too, as far as like, I don't know why. I'm just
there is that one track that goes na 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 na.
I like
Tukey Knows Part 1, I think.
Niggas Know. I love that song. Niggas Already Know. Like I love it. I like playing it around people too. I'm like,
big body, big bends. Big body, big body, big bends.
I gotta go back and re-listen to his.
Blank Face is weird because
it was long. It was like 20 songs.
it's long and it didn't have a consistent sound. Which was cool because it showed his diversity, especially because Oxymoron was so consistent. But at the same time, it's a similar to G-Eazy sort of situation where you think to yourself, like, okay, well, you've kind of carved your sound out. Let's stick with that.
With
that being said, though, I do think that, like, Schoolboy Q is an infinitely more versatile artist than G-Eazy is.
Yeah, and
so
Ride
it makes
Out is still one of the hardest songs I've heard before.
Just Ride Out.
And Vince Staples is the perfect feature on it because like when he comes in, it's just like yes, again, I want more, you know.
Yeah, you know what's crazy to me is that the fact that he had who he had on Tukey Knows Part 2, like Traffic and whatever the guy's name were, like Crips he grew up with.
Yeah,
they're like not even super relevant. Famous rappers. Yeah.
He had a lot of old school guys like Corrupt and like Daz, like people from like the Dog.
He had E40 on there as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a lot of like West Coast.
Whenever E40 comes on a beat, it's like, I'm spectacular. And you're just like, what the fuck?
He has like a weird flow that I've never really fucked with, and like it's just so offbeat. And, like he just doesn't care what.
It's kind of like Tech 9 to me.
Yeah, well, Tech 9 though can
that dude can spit.
Yeah, exactly. He can like.
But it's like his music is always slightly weird enough to make me be like, I don't know if I like this, you know? Not that I don't like weird music, but it's more just like the way that it's weird is like, I don't like, it's like how Denzel Curry's on this like Zeltron 3000 shit now, and I'm like, what the fuck happened?
He's sober now. That's why.
Yeah, and he stopped eating fast food. Yeah. But he just came out with an EP, 13.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a 5-track EP. It's called 13. It came out yesterday.
E40 is hilarious. I always think of him when I Don't Fuck With You, and he's like, cause them niggas cool. It's just like the way he comes up. Bitch, ooh. Why are you coming around with bad news?
It reminds me of like Snoop Dogg's like, and I creep to the mic like a phantom. You know?
E40 comes on some super player shit. Just like, what's up?
Yeah, E40 comes in the track like Cat Williams leaves the music video for Caroline.
That's how.
One last look behind us, and we're gone.
Yeah, I imagine E40 just creeps to the mic and just like does his little thing, and he just walks out after that, just like
yeah. He like drips his way out. And he's like, ooh.
He has his own wine too. His own wine company.
Yeah,
like Earl Grey or something.
Yeah,
no, Earl Grey's tea.
Yeah, it's something.
Tea. And like everyone loves it supposedly. He's just like they love E40. He's just like Bay Area.
Yeah. I'm from the Bay Area.
He's always like courtside at Warriors games and shit. He's like, what's up?
Ooh, that's some triple distilled grape.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
He's weird. Speaking of weird, Tyler the Creator has 2 new tracks out. Did you hear him yet?
I've heard one of them. I forget the.
Who Dat Boy and Mr. Lonely.
Who Dat Boy? I heard Rob Stone had.
Boy.
Did you hear Rob Stone's XX diss? It's called Extra Credit with 3 X's. I didn't know like until I heard it, and I was like, oh yeah, duh, Extra Credit.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's kind of. I don't know if it's hard.
He's kind of irrelevant though.
I fuck with Rob Stone more than I fuck with Triple X.
But Rob Stone got buried by Triple X and Ski Mask. Like he is so irrelevant to the rap game now because of them.
His song Chill Bill is it's so fire. The beat is so fire in that song.
Did you hear X like went on Instagram Live and like played it to figure out who he was when he learned what Rob Stone was when he kicked Ski Mask off of the stage.
Really?
He like played it and he started like cracking up because he's like, they got whistling on the song. Yeah, he's got whistling, man.
He talked about how like XX like tweeted like I fucked your mom, and Rob's just like it's funny like his diss about it like just laughing like there's something like a 12-year-old kid would say like
yeah.
It's so funny though because like it sounds so horrible and I'm about to sound like a real sizist, but like aren't they both like 5'5", like 120 pounds? Like isn't X?
They're not big.
They're like it sounds so hard. I would just laugh like if a guy like XX came to me, what's up, bro? You're just like.
Got sandals on, half black, half blonde hair, and the devil horn thing with like red tattoos under his eyes, and you're like,
I saw a funny meme, and it was like 3 dudes that kind of look like him, and it's like, what would you do if these niggas rolled up on you? And he's like, throw a Xanax and watch them all fight over it. Just what I imagine now. I'm just like, oh god, it's just, oh man, I'm sad. Denzel Curry is the only new rapper I really fuck with.
You don't fuck with Smino?
Yeah, but he's not. I'm talking about like
What about Gold Link? You know, Gold Link was like a 2012 freshman.
Was he really?
Freshman? He was a freshman a long ass fucking time ago.
Oh, so he's just been on the grind. Huh?
I guess he like became a freshman, and it was followed by some period of irrelevance, and then now he's in the limelight again.
I gotta check that out. I know. I
listened to his freestyle the other day.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's talented. He's like he's gotten better. Yeah. That's for sure. But he was a freshman in the same class that like there were some heavy hitters in his class. I remember. Yeah. I think he was a freshman in like the Travis Soul class.
2012 would be like schoolboy.
Yeah.
I remember that one. I think
I think he's in the cypher with Kendrick.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No. Of course, you get buried, but like,
yeah.
I think he's in the cypher with Kendrick or someone like that.
Because I think Kendrick and like ASAP Rocky were on the same one, weren't they? Like, yeah, I just remember that time, like 2012 to 2013 was like.
I'm glad to see that ASAP's coming back. ASAP Rocky.
It's about fucking time. Okay.
And Jesus, can we get one of your projects over a Ferg project?
Or ASAP Mob.
It's kind of like how in February I Bet Shit Gets Scary and then a Boz project comes out.
Yeah.
By the way, this is just a news alert to everyone else. Last February a Boz project came out.
Yeah.
I know you didn't hear about it.
Wasn't it like last winter, or was it Too High to Riot?
Too High to Riot.
Okay.
And it was just like, it's like, I don't know, if that's what J. Cole's doing as like an artist who owns a record label now, just like trying to push his other artists, like his JIDs and his Cause and Effects and his Too High to Riots and shit like that. It's like, that's sick.
He's going for that long-term pyramid scheme.
Well, yeah, I think he's just like, I don't know, actually. You know who would know? Scott would know. We don't know. Yeah. But
let's not. Yeah.
I just feel like with when you run a label like that and you're like a headlining artist, so like Top obviously not an artist, so well, I mean, he does music videos and he has some other endeavors, but he's not a rapper, so he can put whoever on plate that needs to be. Yeah. Whereas when you're ASAP Rocky, I don't know if he owns his own record label, but we know J. Cole does, right? So like J. Cole, it seems like everyone wants to own
Rocky
their...
signed to RCA, I think, and ASAP Mob too.
Oh.
Yeah, because I remember back in the day, like he got all of them a record deal. He got paid, like he got his record deal and his whole like crew. He finagled it to like it's like his ASAP Mob is like a label through them now, which is good for him. Smart.
Yeah,
like it's a package deal, which is genius. Next album we should do is Jay-Z's album, because I saw online
444.
I saw online that you can download it for free legally.
No,
like Complex did a thing, like they posted like the link. They're like, you can download it. It's available to download legally. Which I haven't looked into.
You know what's weird is
we can find a way to listen to it though.
Did you see that it went fake platinum?
I saw it went platinum. Was it fake platinum now?
Yeah, it's fake.
What, from streams or something?
Because it didn't sold anything.
But it's from streams, right?
No. I think it's like he required Sprint to purchase enough copies of it to make it go platinum.
Oh.
Because Tidal's owned by Sprint, and partially owned by Sprint.
Yeah.
So he like required that Sprint buy a certain amount of copies of it in order for it to go platinum. So now he's like his 14th platinum or something.
Damn, Jay-Z got Sprint by the balls too?
Dude, that's so weak.
No, that's weak.
That's mega weak.
That's weak.
That's crazy weak. Do you know how little it matters nowadays to be platinum?
No, it just matters to him. But they're counting streams now towards your record sales. So like, yeah. So now like,
it's like the meaning of having a platinum album has gone out the window in the past 3 years.
It's just bragging rights. That's all. But yeah,
it's not even bragging rights.
Well, towards other rappers to other rappers, but it doesn't matter to the public. Like I don't care if
it's not even bragging rights amongst them. I bet.
Well, I mean, Drake likes to. You niggas settling for going gold, you know.
Who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Who headlined Rolling Loud as a rapper?
I don't know.
X.
Did he?
How many platinum records do he have?
Oh, is it?
How many platinum records does Rob Stone have? How many platinum records does Vince Staples have?
I was waiting for like a one I know. I was like,
how many platinum records does Schoolboy Q have?
Another one.
You know?
I don't know how.
You know who does?
Jay-Z,
maybe. Jay-Z, DJ Khaled, Calvin Harris, Drake. J. Cole has one. It's like, cool. Those are your platinums, but it's like,
bro. J. Cole went platinum with no features twice.
So? Who cares?
You're supposed to be impressed. Okay.
I'm not. You know who else went platinum?
DJ Khaled.
Jay-Z's last album went platinum before it was available for sale because of the same Sprint deal. Do you see how little platinum matters?
Yeah, it's just like a personal, I think, achievement. You feel, I mean, back in the day, it was like you went platinum was like insane.
Yeah, I know it's a personal achievement, Alex.
Yeah,
that's the.
Well, it's just
that's the point.
It's
you know what else is a personal achievement? Like waking up on time. You know who else gives a fuck about the fact that you woke up on time?
No one.
No one.
Well, it's almost like winning a Grammy. Like winning a Grammy now doesn't really matter. It's like you could just. I mean, it.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing is the saturation of award shows where it's like you can win a Grammy for like best or funniest line in a rap song. The Grammy goes to Ugly God.
The only.
No, the album would go to Macklemore probably because.
Oh my God.
The Grammys are.
Yeah.
Totally unaware of the culture.
They would the only reason I would want to win a Grammy is so I could they gonna think I won a Grammy Part 2. Or well, I don't even know what the title of the song was, but
then now they know I want a Grammy.
I would pay Future to be like, now they know I want a Grammy.
Yeah,
just like me dancing in the background with the trophy. Future's holding the Grammy award. It's just like,
you Millie rocking with the trophy and like sipping like great. You sipping E40's wine out of it.
Yeah, or like do a Lil Wayne like ash in his blood in his Grammy. Like, it was like before it was popular to do that. He had like 4 of them on the window, so he's just like, I was just like, jeez.
That just goes to show like.
Disrespect.
Yeah.
It's like how many
and in Jay-Z's from Jay-Z's perspective, it's like he probably uses platinum albums as doorstops nowadays. He has so many of them. But like the thing doesn't even have a vinyl in it like it normally does. Like there's no physical within the plaque because there was never a physical. He went platinum without a physical, a buy link, or a download.
Sprint. He got Sprint by the balls. He told Sprint, y'all gonna make me platinum today, and I want unlimited data.
and no overhead fees.
Everyone on Rock Nation getting free unlimited data. Yeah, Hove.
And half off long distance calling. You know I gotta call my baby blue. Hove.
You convince Jay. You tell Jay-Z, how'd you go platinum with no buy link? He's like, yeah, that's weird. I don't know. Hove.
Oh, 4 bars.
444. What time is it?
444. Just like the bars on my Sprint phone. 4 bars.
What Beyonce at? Tell her make me a sandwich. All right. That's funny.
Beyonce looks at him like he's like, oh, I'm make my own sandwich. I get it.
It's right with platinum bread.
Oh boy.
About that time.
I think it caps off a good inaugural Sunday episode.
Yeah, just like Trump is the best. Our inaugural.
Why?
I had to.
What was the point of that?
Hashtag 2-term Trump. Make America great again.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. I have to. It happens to me.
I've seen you try to trigger people by saying that
so many times.
A handful of times now.
It's my favorite thing to say. I don't know why.
And every single person you've said it to just looks at you and is like,
what's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
I feel like I'm such a contrarian that sometimes I don't even like something. But like because other people don't like it, I just like I have to act like I like it now. Like it's my thing now.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
And I have to keep it up until they react to it because I have to make them believe that.
But you've been saying that to people
forever
for so long now, just trying to trigger them.
You think it's Inception? Like now I think I'm really.
You're gonna like actually
become a Trump fan?
Yeah.
Yeah, just somewhat. If you see me in a red and white hat, you know what it is. I'm just kidding. I don't really like Donald Trump, gentlemen. I didn't vote for him. That should. We
already talked about the fact we didn't vote for him.
That should where it come down to, though. You know, it's like who'd you vote for? I don't care who you ride for. Who'd you vote for?
Who'd you vote for? Yeah.
Yeah. My boy Gay J, GJ, Gary Johnson. I said Gay J. That's horrible. Gary Johnson.
Yeah. Okay, now we can end the fucking episode.
All right, let's just cut.
Any other weird? Should we talk? Speaking of, should we talk about fucking North Korea now? No, we shouldn't.
We should link.
You're goddamn right. We shouldn't. That's another thing we shouldn't talk about.
Yeah.
So if you like the episode, if you listen this far, you like the episode, don't lie to us. Follow us on Factually Incorrect Podcast on everything except for Twitter, which is Podcast FI. Yeah. And
if you don't like it, go fuck yourself.
If you don't like it, send us an email.
Don't.
To gofuckyourself@gmail.com. and
if you don't like it, we'll provide some lube for you to go fuck yourself.
I could do that all day. I could come up with ways to tell people to go fuck themselves all day.
Yeah.
All day, baby.
Put some makeup on so you can look pretty when you get fucked. Man.
All right.
Yeah.
Peace.
Later. later, 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 later.